Mike, we're back.
Thank God. I was worried about me.
We didn't go live.
Not yet.
In fact, we went on hiatus.
We're close.
What have you been up to?
Well, I mean, I've been here while you two people have been prancing around various places. Actually, I went to Pittsburgh arbitrarily. That was kind of fun. Took the incline, got drunk. I drank the shit out of a bunch of Iron City. And
Iron City?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a bad town, Pittsburgh.
Well, Mike, we have a lot of beer news to catch up on. We picked a crazy week to go on our summer vacation, but that's just how it works out. So why don't we start with something that we all love in America, and that's being right about capitalist stuff.
My God, I love being right about capitalist stuff.
What happened literally the day after we recorded our last episode with Boston Beer?
That stock shot through the goddamn roof.
It sure did. It went up 30%. We got done
day.
recording. We closed our computers. We went and grabbed some beers at the bar. We looked at our phones, and it was up 30 GD%.
Yeah. Actually, I think it might have been a few days later, but I like your version of
I think it was the same day. I think it was the same day. In my head, it's the same day.
Yeah.
What?
We're definitely going to be the better-looking Jim Cramers of the future.
So this is all off the backs of what we were kind of hinting at, coming and hearing through the grapevine, that rumors about a buyout and or a hostile takeover seem to be becoming more and more true. It looks like Jim...
Well, yes, as well as the weed thing.
The weed thing, too, we were touching on that. And that really still hasn't been mentioned in any of those articles. So there's still a lot of opportunity if you are so inclined to invest money, if you have any, unlike myself and our producer Dan, who has none. I've heard you've moved some of your retirement stocks around.
Yes, I did. I actually bought some Boston Beer.
Yeah, there's still some good opportunity there, I think. There's still a lot of things that are going to happen, even if you don't want to take the financial risk. Again, we're not financial advisors. But...
or even financially competent, really.
Well, this is true. Heineken supposedly is still kind of sniffing around. Beam Suntory, which is the Japanese company that now owns Jim Beam, is supposedly sniffing around, and then all the weed stuff. And Jim Cook is just old as hell. So, like, there's a really good chance at some point he's looking at what his retirement plan is and how does he get out of the company. There has to be an exit plan.
Because you don't think that being one of the 1,000 richest guys in the world, he can survive. Like, oh no, I don't want to have to eat cat food when I'm 78 or whatever the hell. I think he's already in his 70s.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. That's also the crazy part about being a public-owned company, is that he does open himself up to a hostile takeover. There could be a chance where someone just comes in and starts buying up stocks.
Well, you know what? I don't know what that company looks like right now, but I did read Jim's book before I interviewed him, and in his book, he says that when he went public, he retained essentially veto power of any major decisions the corporation made.
So
even though it became public,
independent.
yeah, he still had like an actual meaningful say, which would have made hostile takeover impossible. However, he wrote that book a number of years ago, so I don't know. I have no idea what the corporate articles and shit look like. But he did have a very unique arrangement when it went public that was different. He retained more control than you typically do with a public company.
Well, maybe the next season of Succession will be about Jim Cook and what the hell he's going to do then. He's got a daughter, by all accounts.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's in the biz or not, but...
I'm hoping to be Cousin Greg in that scenario.
Well, speaking of...
See you on Thanksgiving, Jim.
Speaking of moral billionaires, if you can say that there's a moral billionaire.
Sure.
A billionaire yogurt maker has bought Anchor.
Yeah.
Also got announced the day of our last episode filming.
Yeah, he seems pretty legit from what I've been able to read. I don't think he's a Turkish immigrant, and
He founded Chobani Yogurt.
I don't think he came from money. I'm not sure of that, but he definitely founded Chobani on a small scale, and it really took off. A lot like Boston Beer, not with traditional sort of marketing, advertising, but through just being really quality. And Chobani is all over the place now.
The Field of Dreams marketing tactic of if you build it, they will come. If you build quality, they will enjoy it.
Yeah, and so he made this really quality yogurt. And what's really interesting about the guy, to my understanding, he doesn't even drink, but he has a real love of San Francisco and also just a basic respect for craftsmanship and quality in products. So all of this has drawn this guy to buy all of Anchor Steam, the real estate, the equipment, the intellectual property, all of it, and keep it alive. So it sounds like the best possible case scenario.
It really does. He did buy all three things: the brewery, the building and land, and the IP. And he had a really lovely quote that's I'm just going to read it here for you. I have fallen in love with this city, its history, grit, and charm. I believe brands born in places like this are incredibly special and must be treasured, respected, and loved. Now, if that doesn't just make you feel damn good about American beer, then I don't know what does.
I hate it when I like the rich, but here's to you, brother.
Now, oh yeah, cheers. Cheers to that. We'll drink on your behalf, buddy. So what I think is
now
really
go make me some fucking yogurt.
Too is that he doesn't. He doesn't. He knows how to make money, and obviously, Aussie or however you say it, who bought it and then bought Stone, got out of it for a reason, and they didn't see that there being an ROI there. But this guy, if he bootstrapped a yogurt company into billionaire status, and making food and selling food is a very low margin game, let alone yogurt with a shorter shelf life.
Yep.
This guy knows how to be product efficient. He's not just a business suit guy looking at numbers. He built this thing.
He knows how to sell quality.
He knows how to sell quality, and he can streamline deficiencies in their operation that they were having. I think this is just a brilliant move, and I really think he's going to be successful. I really can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
Speaking of most valuable beer brands and rich people, the list of Kantar's most valuable beer brands came out. Now we're talking specific beer brands, not companies. So like Budweiser and Bud Light are two different beer brands, a part of Anheuser-Busch. The number one most expensive, worthwhile, valuable. That's the word I'm looking for.
Valuable, yes.
The number one most valuable beer brand in the world. Mike, any idea what it is?
Some Mexican piss?
Corona, yes.
Oh, the pissiest of Mexican piss.
I think that's interesting that it's Corona. In that, now obviously this isn't just based off of net sales and all that shit. It's based off of a whole lot of things, like the value of the brand itself, which is a bunch of horseshit, because what does that even mean? Heineken's won this award before as the most valuable brand, but like Heineken, because of their brand, who gives a shit about Heineken? So the only thing I like about Corona is the fucking palm tree with the light bulbs. But the Christmas lights. How this beat out Modelo to me is insane.
Wasn't that wasn't that a Red Stripe commercial?
No, that's Corona.
All right.
It's been on since the 90s. One of the longest running commercials of all time. Interestingly enough. When you kill it, you kill it. No. What's interesting to me is that it's Corona and not Modelo, or not even the most sold brand by volume in the whole world, which is Snow out of China, or not even Bud Light, which is the most American of beer brands in the world. So the fact that it's Corona is just mind-bending to me.
Yeah, the fact that it would surpass Budweiser really is pretty crazy, especially since it's just a terrible beer. I mean, you don't put a lime in it to accentuate something. You put a lime in it because it's piss. It's undrinkable. You have to put something in it to kill the taste of it. It's terrible beer. And it also gives you a virus. Have you ever heard of the coronavirus? That's where it came from. All right, it's possible that's not true.
By all accounts, I don't know. I don't know how biology works. Maybe that is what happens. We're not pandemologists or whatever.
Jump from a monkey to Corona beer to people. That's exactly how the biology worked. I'm a scientist.
You've heard it here, folks. Mike Morgan, scientist, is giving us facts. On that news, the Circana, which tracks off-premise sales data, just released a report on trends among alcohol consumption. And what they said is that people are trading down in spirits, people are trading down in wine, which is to be expected. But surprisingly, they're actually starting to trade up in beer. Now, what do you think that means? When you hear people trading up in beer, What do you think they're buying instead of what?
I don't know. I mean, I would think trending up means you're selling more craft beer, although I don't think craft beer sales are rising. So, what does it mean?
Yeah, see, that's what I thought too. It's like, oh, great, they call it luxury brands. Luxury brands are doing better.
Sure, you drinking a Rolls Royce.
And this is the fucked up thing. Yeah, nice. Nice. You have to give me a ride in yours later.
Yeah, absolutely.
They segment the beer market so much. Like Busch Light is sub-premium. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser is premium. Mich Ultra is super premium. And so what they're saying here is luxury brands are being anything that's super premium or higher. So craft beer, which is above super premium, that's the category they call it, isn't doing well. But the fact that so much Corona and Modelo and Mich Ultra is selling, that luxury brands are doing well. But it just means people aren't buying Natty Light, they're actually buying Modelo now.
Corona and Mich Ultra are luxury?
Yes.
God damn it.
That's American luxury for you. Gold-plated toilets and all. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, this just makes me think, like, is all of this just... Are we still dealing with the fallout, the butterfly flap wings of Kid Rock shooting a six-pack of fucking Bud Light? Is this all just based off of that?
I don't
Bud Light
know.
goes down, the Modelo goes up, Corona goes up as a result. They're technically a slightly higher segment, so now luxury brands are doing well. People are trading up because Bud Light tanked the premium market?
I don't know why you would drink Corona rather than High Life. You know?
Yeah. Or MGD.
Or MGD.
Yeah, High Life's great.
When's the last time you've seen an actual Michelob?
Oh, do they even make it anymore?
I'm not sure.
I like Mick Amberbach. I'll still drink that when I find it on rare occasions. Yeah, so this is interesting too, based on the luxury being good, craft beer's not doing well. So it's this, to me it reads, one, they're just trying to paint this broad picture of beers doing better than it is. And two, when you really start looking into what does it mean to be trading down in wine, we see some really interesting things.
Yeah.
What's happening in the wine market right now?
So the wine market as a whole isn't doing well, but there are segments of the wine market that are actually doing great, where sales are increasing. Small wineries are getting hammered. Wine under $10 a bottle isn't selling for shit, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But that mid-level wine is like $25 to $40 or $45. I don't remember exactly how they define it, but it starts at $25, and that is seeing growth.
That's strange, because you would think with Gen Z and even millennials, because we're still poor and basically children, you would think we would be buying the sub 10 to learn to get into wine, or even the 20, sub 20.
You would.
The fact that 25 to 50 is doing well, is it doing well with all segments?
The growing, like 59% of wine sales in that mid-range that they consider it are what they call the youth buyers.
59%?
59%
Over half of the buyers.
are youth, but the wine industry is defining that as Gen Z, millennials, and Gen X. So
Wait, you're youth?
Yeah, I'm youth. I am
youth?
absolutely youth to the wine industry, which is one of the problems of the wine industry we have discussed previously. 40% still of all that market is a handful of boomers.
So what's happening, my read on this is then that the youths are not wanting to buy cheap wine when they're buying wine. So it's an affordable luxury, buying the $25 to $50 bottle. And more importantly, I think probably what's happening is these aging boomers are trying to save a little bit of money. They're going on less Napa trips. They're not supporting the small wineries. They're trading down from their 80 bottle down to sub 45.
Yeah. So the people that have made all the money and pulled up the ladder, they're buying cheaper wine than they've been buying. And the people that can't afford to buy a house, they're just splurging on wine.
I can't buy a house, might as well buy a good bottle of wine anyway.
Yeah.
Not fucked.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
It's all kind of it's like the Applebee's of alcohol that people are drinking, you know?
I'll be damned if I go to fucking McDonald's, but I can't afford a nice steakhouse, so fuck it, Applebee's.
So Lone Star it is.
Speaking of rich people doing stupid shit, Hulk Hogan has launched his own beer brand. It's called.
Thank God.
It's called Real American Beer, and it's an American light beer.
We absolutely needed that.
And you know how much beer Hulk Hogan drinks on the regular right now?
None.
Yeah, fucking none.
Yeah.
He doesn't even drink, and he's launching an alcohol brand.
Hulk Hogan said and he's been doing like a lot of interviews about how he doesn't drink while he's rolling out this new beer brand. He says that like he quit drinking. I mean, he has apparently been just a massive drunk his entire life, and he's in his 70s.
I believe that.
And I mean, he would like pound beers before he would wrestle, which seems crazy. I mean, it's a very athletic thing. But he quit drinking after a New Year's Eve party 2023, which is like when you're in your 70s and you're Hulk Hogan and you've done all the crazy shit you've done in your life, how fucking off the rails did he have to get at that New Year's party where he was like, shit, I guess I shouldn't drink.
He's been sticking needles in his ass for fucking 50 years, and now he decides I'm going to sober up.
Yeah.
Just ride it into the ground, bud. You're almost dead.
Man, I
Just
would
take that.
Yeah, I wish I'd been at that party.
Oh, God, I bet it was wild. Body slamming people, power bombs.
If I had been, though, Hulk Hogan would have probably called me the next day and be like, dude, you were out of control. Yeah, but one of us kept at it, bitch.
I do like how we finally gotten to the point where celebrity alcohol brands has jumped the shark. Because all the A-list stars getting into spirits or wine, if you're B-list, now we're getting all the way down at the very bottom. And these guys are like, well, I can't afford to buy a winery. Ah, fuck it.
Yeah.
American craft beer, American light lager.
There are several of them. Like there are several celebrities that don't drink that have alcohol brands. Jennifer Lopez apparently doesn't drink, but she has a whole RTD line. And Kelce Grammer apparently has like a beer. Like,
Oh, yeah, he does. He owns a craft brewery up in upstate New York.
I mean, I like Kelce Grammer, but who the fuck even knows who Kelce Grammer is anymore?
What do you mean? You don't watch Frasier reruns all the time? Or
I
Cheers? Should I go back to Cheers?
mean, Cheers is really...
I was a Frasier guy.
Yeah.
More my generation.
And he was a notorious drunk. He got, he was fucking doing all crazy shit. He was off the rails. But he doesn't drink anymore. He's got his own beer. But here's my...
Isn't his wife also like 22?
She's hot. So I don't... But yeah. The whole, like, that Hulk Hogan brand... It's sort of like, I mean, it's a bit less offensive than the conservative dad who doesn't really even make beer, but somehow still sells like $20 six packs.
Yes.
How the fuck do you make money on that? I mean, is there really a need for a light beer alternative option to the million other light beers that are out there that are made with such efficiency that it's easy to make them cheap?
I am convinced that the only way these brands make money is by investing enough in marketing and artificial sales generation through buying placements, tit for tat type stuff, things that are kind of borderline illegal, maybe not illegal depending on your state. And you build this house of cards that gets big enough where you almost become too big to fail, and you flip it and you sell it to somebody who actually has manufacturing facilities and then can afford to make a profit margin on it. Because otherwise, none of it makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense.
Who has done that?
There's been plenty of brands that do that. I mean, it happens in spirits brands. Any contract brand, basically, that's how it works. When you're adding an extra tier to a thing that doesn't really have good profit margin in the first place, which is what happens. Like, these guys don't own breweries. They're contract brewing it.
Right.
They're not making money. So, like, Montucky is a good example. We talked about them in a previous episode.
Yeah, and they're not doing well.
Well, they sold their business.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they made money or not, but they sold for like $20 million.
Yeah, it's not clear that they... Yeah.
If you don't own the overhead of having to invest in a production facility, though, like, if you're just spending money hand over fist, as long as you spent less than $20 million to build it there, you made money. So, because otherwise, I don't see how you do it.
They sold that brand for what?
$20 million is what a number I got in my head.
Jesus.
Yeah. Shit's
What
crazy.
do they sell? That stupid horse label?
Yeah. Montucky, baby.
Oh my God.
Well, speaking of other beers that are owned by celebrities, here locally in Cincinnati, the Kelce brothers have bought Garage Beer, which started here in Cincinnati by Braxton Brewing Company. Covington.
Yeah, but yes.
And, we all know that one of the Kelce brothers is dating Taylor Swift, and so now it's only a matter of time until Taylor Swift's doing butt chugs on stage, is my understanding.
Fantastic.
So, I think...
Butt chugs? What?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'll explain it later. I thought you knew what a butt chug was. I guess it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I usually use the other end. But
see, that's
to each his own.
You can use either. Now, on the backs of this...
I'd pay for that concert.
On the backs of these celebrities getting involved in beer, which to me is the ultimate level of just celebrity alcoholism, is jump the shark. We are seeing craft brewers just close left and right now. Big hitters. Like, we're not hearing about the small ones. People like Big Storm Brewing, who got accused of, the owner got accused of money laundering, and now the brewery is closing. You don't generally hear about those, but those happen all the time. I'm talking big ones like Cascade Brewing. One of the founders of American Sour Beer has shuttered.
But that story was kind of, I don't know. That story's complicated, though. That Cascade was started by a guy, Art something, I don't remember his name.
But
yeah, so he was one of the real pioneers. He got the first craft license. Like, I think it was Brew Pub at that time in Oregon, because it was early. He got the first Brew Pub license in Oregon in like '86 or something like that. And so he was he'd been around for a long time, but then there was like something weird that happened with that brewery. Like, he sold it in 2020, but somehow title didn't transfer. He didn't really get paid, and he had a heart attack. So he died suddenly and unexpectedly, and his family was apparently like, "What? We still own that goddamn brewery?" So, I mean, there was weird stuff happening with that.
Yeah, he was big on wanting to create a legacy and wanted somebody that was going to be a steward of his brand. And I think he chose someone that was going to steward his brand in a romantic sense more than a business sense. And he sold to somebody without enough money, so they were attempting to make payments. He reached a deal right before COVID.
Yeah,
then
sure that helped.
COVID happened, so the new owners were struggling to make payments, so the transfer never happened, and he technically still owned it, and he was actually still helping even finance it and make it stay alive, and then he died in 2023. The family realized this never happened, and then they just shut the whole damn thing down.
Yeah.
It's really sad what happened, but it just sucks. It's more American beer history going away. Ballast Point has sold off basically the last of their assets. I mean, we all know, we've talked about that story a lot of times, but what's interesting is who they sold off the last assets to, which I believe you know.
Athletic, the non-alcoholic brand.
Yes.
Which I did just yesterday, Brett. There is some Athletic in our cooler back here.
Yep.
I drank my very first modern non-alcoholic beer.
What do you think?
And it wasn't beer. But, it didn't suck. It is definitely better than O'Doul's.
Yeah.
It is definitely an improvement in the NA market. That 100%.
I don't see the value prop still. Because, beer is good, but, there's better tasting liquids out there if we're talking about things that don't get you drunk.
Yeah. I don't know. This morning, I was in here not really feeling so great this morning. And so, 10 o'clock, I wanted a beer, but I realized it was a terrible idea. So, fortunately, I had some of those in there. I grabbed one of them. And
so, curbing alcoholistic tendencies is potentially one good use of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does.
Intersperse it, have an NA in between a few real beers.
And I guess if you're feeling, socially weird at a bar, and you don't want to be seen just drinking water or iced tea or cola, then, whatever. I have a beer now, too. And it's less off-putting, I guess. I don't know. I don't think that's worth worrying about. But
but they're doing well, obviously.
They
have that Ballast Point Brewery is no small affair.
They've basically created the market. They have created the NA market, and they own it. They own 80% of it. It's fucking wild.
Well, do they create the science behind it? I mean, the NA beer is better because it's made differently than you used to like make real beer and then just cook the alcohol off of it.
Yeah.
Which is why it was always disgusting. I mean, you were making a drinkable beer and then intentionally wrecking it. So they make it differently now. I don't understand how they make it, but
they were the first modern NA brewery to go all in on new tech to remove alcohol without having to cook it. And that's why. They took a huge gamble and they bought technology that was very young and it made very good product, and they've had a really good success. Also a company led by people who have a lot of knowledge around marketing and sales and ability to push and pull in. They've been pulling in sports athletes for marketing since the beginning. So all in all, it's a well-run company top to bottom, operationally, marketing, and sales. It's the trifecta of what you need to really be succeed on that level. Mike, there was a lot of beer news. I have one last piece of news for us before we sign off for the day. Baijiu is getting ready to make a big push into the U.S. Do you care?
I don't even know what Baijiu is.
I don't even know if that's how you say it, but that's that Chinese liquor that's the number one liquor sales by volume in the world. It's made from sorghum. It's drank at like all business meetings for Chinese business-like people and government people. It's supposed to be terrible by all accounts, but okay. I think that says it, everything we need to know about what Baijiu's success rate is in the U.S. Terrible.
Malort is better. No, I've never tasted this Chinese bullshit, and I'm not going to start.
Folks, by all accounts, this was a good episode. We're happy to be back.
Really? By whose account was this a good episode?
All accounts. Our two accounts. Good episode. Good episode.
I loved it.
By all current accounts, this was a good episode. We might be going live next week at 1:30 p.m. on Friday. And that'll be one more forward.
Brett, the godfather of the cornbread mafia, one of the biggest weed dealers in the United States, fellow Kentuckian. He passed away last week, so rest in peace.
We'll see you guys next week.
We love you, people.
Check our social. We'll confirm. But right now, let's plan on doing 1:30 p.m. live on Friday, next Friday.
We'll see you.
Cheers.
It's a date.